We have a wonderful speaker, and it's my great pleasure to introduce our family speaker tonight, Casey Hyatt.
All right, so I won't talk as fast as our auctioneer, but I will try to keep it. So good evening. My name is Casey Hyatt, and I'm honored to be here tonight to share the incredible story of my daughter Addison and our family's story of triumph. These are my children. My oldest, Wyatt, he's on my right. And Addie, she just turned 3 in December. She's our fiery redhead you see there on the left. It's because of the strength and determination in both of my children that I can stand up here tonight and share. My family and this journey has taught me the true meaning of courage and grace. Our journey with Encompass began 3 years ago with our youngest, Addison, my sunshine mixed with hurricane. We welcomed this beautiful redhead into our family on December 5th, and despite complications during pregnancy, we were assured she was in excellent health. Addison wasn't our first child, so we knew bringing a newborn home was a big journey. We knew the lack of sleep, the newborn tears, and that wild but beautiful ride of those first few months. I know there's a lot of parents in here that know what I mean. We thought we knew what to expect, but with Addison it was different. Her first month home was as joyful as much as it was trying. Our daughter had extreme difficulty sleeping and eating. Every hour, like clockwork, she would wake and cry. While she had the appetite, she lacked the ability to eat well. She would struggle, and it was horrible to see her uncomfortable. It was a heartbreaking cycle to witness your baby struggle to eat. We lived in survival mode those first months, carting her around to a number of appointments, so many discussions on colic, acid reflux, possible allergies. I sought support from lactation specialists, therapists trained in reflex, made countless calls to her pediatrician. Most attempts proved futile, with the constant reassurance that she was healthy and gaining a small amount of weight. It was just enough. Addie was 3 months old when I started to notice something new. She rarely unclenched her left fist. I literally would have to pry her little hand open to clip her nails. It was strange to me. At her 4-month appointment, I brought it up to her pediatrician and was told to watch and wait. No cause for alarm. But in my mind, and in my gut, I was certain something was wrong. I refused to accept that this was typical for an infant. At her 6-month appointment, I wasn't willing to walk out without an answer. Her pediatrician recommended we see a neurologist, and although he didn't completely agree that something was wrong, he was willing to put the referral through. And in a very light way, he mentioned that there could be the rare possibility of a stroke being the cause for her difficulties. A stroke. How does a child, an infant, have a stroke? I was confused and I was scared, and rightfully so. We got that MRI for our daughter, and those results did confirm my worst fear. Addison had suffered a stroke during my pregnancy. The damage to her brain was what was responsible for all the difficulties she had experienced. Because the stroke occurred in the right side of her brain, her entire left side was weakened. Her hand, her leg, her mouth, the ability to swallow, and digestion were all affected by this stroke. It was clear to me now, clear, but still devastating. I wrestled with every possible emotion, just as I'm certain any parent does when they receive a major diagnosis for their child. I was angry, but after months of appointments and specialists, not one of them had mentioned a stroke as a possibility. I was filled with guilt, that I didn't fight harder for my daughters, that I failed at protecting her, and I was scared for her future. What would it look like? Was she going to walk, talk? Would she have another stroke? And no matter how much I wanted these answers, the truth was, again, only time would tell. Now, up until this point in my life, I had little knowledge of who Encompass was to our community and so many families. Nor did I ever imagine that I would be that parent who would need early intervention services for my child. I was sheltered from this life that many parents navigate when their child has a developmental need. The one certain thing we were told was that Addison would benefit with ongoing early intervention, that only through therapy could she reach her greatest potential. That first call to Encompass was hard. It was hard for me to ask for help. It was hard for me to admit my child had a developmental delay, and it was scary. I had no idea what to expect. So when this beautiful team of therapists knocked on our door days later for her evaluation, I was surprised that it felt like I was opening the door to the freshest air. I had wondered, what does therapy look like for an 8-month-old child? And they showed me. They brought me hope, they brought us a plan, and they saved our family from experiencing this alone. The team coached me as a parent on how to support Addie in her daily routines and carry those strategies between sessions. They taught me how to thicken formula and special exercises for my daughter's mouth so we could strengthen her ability to eat. They showed me how to focus play on her left side. She's got it. They showed me how to focus play on her left side to incorporate the use of her left hand and leg, and how to strengthen her core muscles so she could potentially learn to sit on her own. 2 to 3 times a week, these therapists were at our home, navigating this journey with me and my daughter. This team was our village, and they still are to this day. The first time Addie sat upright without support, we were in Walmart. She was 9 months old. So we put her in the cart just to give it a try, and there she sat, upright and proud. So not only did we break down crying in the aisles, snapping pictures, cheering, but our therapy team was the first to get the picture message of her sitting upright. So one of the biggest questions of how or when my daughter may walk was always there in the forefront of our minds. Gratefully, Addison was the most amazing crawler, so she did get mobile. She got around crawling for over a year, so much so that we eventually had to purchase knee pads to prevent wear and tear on her little knees. She looks ready to roller derby, but she was extremely happy to be mobile. When Addie turned 2, we reluctantly accepted the fact that she needed support from a walker. We spent close to 6 months utilizing this extremely heavy, bright purple walker that Encompass lent us. Addison hated it. She hated being strapped into anything, but when she realized it helped her move, she stuck with it. So hours were spent in our house and in our driveway, getting her to take alternating steps to build up her strength. At 2.5 and a day before my birthday, my daughter chose to give me the greatest gift I could have ever asked for. We were in our yard, and she was crawling around, when all of a sudden she decided it was her time. She stood up, and she took those first independent steps. She wanted no help. In fact, if I tried to help, she would sit back down and throw a fit. The red hair, I know. But that day, she began doing the very things that doctors were unsure she'd ever do. She walked on her own. So Addison's almost 3.5 now. Let me tell you, she has speed. She is walking independently with no need for that walker. In fact, she spends most of her day running, and I'm out of breath chasing her. Her left hand and speech are still very much affected, but her vocabulary and use of both hands continues to grow. She now attends developmental preschool, and she loves it. We still get the support of Encompass through in-office therapy sessions, and our village with them still very much exists. It's a relationship that is and will always be huge in our family. A brief, tiny moment in my daughter's life during my pregnancy changed the course of her future dramatically. In many ways, Addison's your typical toddler. And in some ways, she has to work much harder at the things that come easy to most because of her stroke. It's become a passion of mine to heighten education for stroke among children and to bring support to families like ours. Last year, we founded our nonprofit foundation, Pediatric Stroke Warriors. And it's through our mission that I get the gift of connecting with so many impacted families and to meet these beautiful children that I believe are warriors. The biggest message I have ever shared to anyone is that my daughter, our children, are bigger than any diagnosis, and they will amaze us and inspire us with their ability to overcome. As a family, in a short amount of time, we've changed, but we became stronger than we ever thought we could, and much of that comes from having Encompass at our side. Many of you sitting in this very room tonight know how important Encompass is to our community. That's why you're here. My hope is that in sharing my story, you realize just how crucial Encompass is to so many families. While we navigated a stroke, just as many other families are navigating something entirely different for their child. Every year, hundreds of families rely on these services to help their children reach their greatest potential, and we were just one of them. So tonight, I encourage you to support Encompass with their vision of a community where all children thrive. And I thank you for your time.